Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders is taking a jab at Apple. The company just announced its plan with California Governor Gavin Newsom to put $2.5 billion toward funding affordable housing in California. Bernie Sanders criticized Apple for not paying enough taxes, and he also says the company won't really be fixing the housing crisis in California. It will just be adding real estate to its already large real estate portfolio. Now, in a statement, Bernie Sanders said that Apple's announcement that it is entering the real estate lending business is an effort to distract from the fact that it has helped create California's housing crisis, all while raking in $800 million of taxpayer subsidies and keeping $250 billion of profit offshore in order to avoid paying billions of dollars in taxes. And of course, you'll remember that Sanders in the past has had some success going after both Amazon and Walmart. Guys? Bernie versus Apple.
He's not wrong. I mean,
right.
to a degree, you have to consider the fact that, number one, these tech giants have, in fact, boosted real estate prices for a while now. That was the major issue we saw in the Amazon HQ2 race. But then you also have to consider the fact that what he's doing is not necessarily unique. I'm talking about Apple, sorry. What Apple is doing is not necessarily unique in that they're trying to solve the problem or trying to, in some way, enter a different, diversified sort of, stream.
Well, and Google has said the same, by the way. Google has devoted some amount of money to trying to help the homeless crisis in SF.
And it's not just these companies. I see it a lot in the healthcare field as well, where they see the opportunity for revenue through this.
And we do both, which, by the way, if it works and it really helps the problem, I'm all for that. If you can help a social issue and also it helps your business, fine. I don't see why it has to negate the goodwill if it helps the business.
Housing crisis, definitely an issue. These companies are indirectly at fault, you could argue, but look, they're just growing their business, and as a result, the developers and landlords in the area have caught on, and it's a simple supply and demand equation. Clearly a terrible situation. The only issue, though, is that these companies, if we're going to talk about politicians attacking tech companies, are big employers in the U.S. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of jobs in this tech industry. So we don't want to discount those.
No, and here we go. It's Amazon and Queens again. Same kind of debate.
And are there points of, well, how much more should companies be focusing on paying their taxes, right? Because that was, I think, one of the key points that he brought up, and a lot of people have clung to that, saying, yes, there isn't enough, push on some of these companies to start paying their fair share of taxes, not hoarding overseas, et cetera. So that's one issue. But also, when you're talking about the housing crisis, I think a lot of the conversation leaves out even the local government, because if you talk about the approvals, right, for some of these new buildings, all the real estate that goes up, that's also on the local government's back. So it's up to them also to even prevent gentrification, prevent these housing crises from happening. They do have the power to in some way alleviate that.
Right, let's see what local government does. I will say, in no city in the U.S. that I've been to other than SF is homelessness a more overt and clear and obvious issue. I mean, in San Francisco, in parts, it's just wild.
I don't know. I want to say in some recent traveling that I've done, actually, so I was also in Chicago very recently, and I think I saw it more there than San Francisco, which I was there last week. So I don't know. I think it's just in all the major cities. Philly even you can talk about, right?
Yeah. In SF, the tech companies are becoming very aware of it, though.
Right.
And they want to do something, or they at least feel that they should look like they're doing something.
Right.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.